Reviews in Japan are harsh. Like, really harsh. Tabelog is basically like the Yelp of Japan, and the highest rated ramen restaurant in all of Tokyo has a whopping 4.1 star average rating. Take a look at some of these reviews. Junjiru says, a gem of a bowl that reflects the owner's dedication. When I took my first sip of the broth, the aroma spread beautifully. The shoyu soup was not too rich and very easy to drink. The chashu was incredibly delicious, giving me the impression of being at a steakhouse. Overall, it was delicious and certainly worthy of being in the top 100 restaurants. 3.7 stars. Mibugurume says, top class rating in the Japanese ramen scene. The toppings were like a course meal, and the quality of each meat was impressive. This is definitely a must-place visit for ramen lovers. So glad I came. 3.8 stars. A supreme bowl that showcases dedication and craftsmanship. I took a sip of the ramen broth. I also like how all these reviews like really paint the picture. Like they're really focused on making sure they establish the imagery. It's like a whole story. Anyway, I took a sip of the shio broth. It was refreshing, with a blend of savory animal flavors. Absolutely delicious. With a blend of savory animal flavors, he puts in parentheses, I lack vocabulary. As expected from a famous restaurant, every dish was of high quality, and my satisfaction level was extremely high. And guess what rating that guy gave? 3.9 stars! And finally, we have a review by Yohei Tabe. Ramen crafted with so much passion. The homemade noodles made from domestically sourced wheat, you gotta support our local businesses, guys, had a wonderful had a wonderful aroma. He was talking about the noodles. The chashu was moist and had a meaty texture, but there were some tough bits that were hard to chew, making them difficult to swallow. You know, that might actually be the first piece of criticism in all of these reviews. Yet not a single review that I've read so far has been above 4 stars. Anyway, you get the picture. So if this is how people rate the #1 ramen restaurant, the cream of the crop in all of Tokyo, surely the 1-star ramen restaurants can't be that bad, right? Let's find out. So the first restaurant we're headed to is Yokohama Ieke Ramen, Moriya. And it's actually what inspired this video because they have the cheapest ramen that I've ever seen. And it was cheap to the point where it aroused suspicion. 500 yen for a bowl if you go on the 15th of the month, which is, yeah, suspicious. How the hell do you make money at 500 yen a bowl? I don't have a lot of faith in this place, but I had to try it. And this gives me an excuse to eat potentially horrible food and not feel like I wasted my hard-earned 500 yen. Also, for every single one of these 3 ramen shops that I'm going to be visiting, I have to leave a 5-star review. My only rule is I can't lie. And for those of you who haven't realized this yet, I'm biting this video off, like literally the concept is a complete copy of Ryan Trahan's 1-star review series. But I'm doing it in Japan, so it's original. Oh, we have some prospective customers. And they're walking away. Oh! Would you take a look at this? Today, ramen $4.50. They shaved the price off by 10% somehow. And also, we're here at night because we tried to come here during the day, and it's not open. There's a failed delivery notice on here. Taking a look at some of these 1-star reviews, it's pretty grim. The ramen tasted the worst I've ever had. And the owner's attitude was awful. He was yelling at the delivery guy, saying things like, "What's with the way you talk?" He was the worst owner, as well as a member of society. The reviews are poetic, I'll give it that. One OMR says, "The noodles are drowning." It seemed like there was an abnormally large amount of soup compared to the amount of noodles. These people really do have a way with words. Sotaso says, the taste and the seasoning were normal, but there were 2 cockroaches near the seasoning. I lost my appetite. Goya Jujiro says, I guess it's better than instant ramen when you have no expectations because the rest of the places aren't open. However, the worst part was the all-you-can-eat 100 yen rice. It was sticky and had a strange color, yellow and brown. Although it was cheap, this is extremely disrespectful to customers. It's as if we aren't treated as human beings. Kei Kimura says, they said they could adjust the flavor when the ramen was served. The soup was really salty, so I asked them to thin it out. As a result, the soup turned out thin. Mr. K, I think that sounds like it's kind of on you, dude. I had no choice but to mix the ramen with some of the seasonings on the table to cover it up. Hopefully not the same seasoning with the cockroaches living nearby. Anyway, you get the picture. So I think what we got to do is we got to eat some ramen. We got to try some of this yellowish brown rice and leave a review. I'm going in.
Pungent smell.
Yeah, I got to say right off the bat, there is a pungent odor emanating throughout the restaurant. What ramen should we get? Probably Ieke, right? This is known for Ieke. Unfortunately, they are out of brownish yellow rice.
Oh, because it's the new 1000 though?
They don't even want my money. Ah, すみません、ありがとうございます。
ありがとうございます。
Okay, 9.
お好みございますか？
あ、普通で。
はい、ご了承。
あ、麺は固めでお
麺は
願いします。
固めで、はい。
ありがとうございます。
はい、ご了承。
Well, so far the interaction with the owner was pretty tame. He was really nice. A lot of the Japanese vending machines here don't accept the new 1,000 yen bill. He busted out his own personal wallet and gave myself and Isla two of the old 1,000 yen bills so we could order. I got the Ieke Ramen, which is what the ramen place is known for. At least that's why they label themselves. I got just standard everything because I want to get the truest experience as the developers intended. Except I got hard noodles because you got to get hard noodles. Otherwise you're doing it wrong. Japan really was ahead of its time with its game shows. I love the way that they edit their content. Basically, whenever they have a show where they're showcasing something, they have a panel of reactors. They were doing reaction channels before YouTube was even a thing. This way, despite the loneliness epidemic in Japan, when you're watching TV, it feels like you're watching it with a group of friends. All right, I got the Zenbu Nose Ieke Ramen. My expectations are fairly low, which means I can't be disappointed. That's pretty good. I mean, the soup flavor isn't like super deep. But for 500 yen, like, this is pretty insane. Like, this is better ramen than any that I've eaten outside of Japan. When I lived in Canada, you could get a ramen that tasted like about like instant ramen you'd buy in Japan for like 15 to 20 Canadian dollars, which is approximately 4 times as expensive as this bowl right here. The soup is good. The noodles are firm as advertised. And if you look at the egg, it's not marinated, but it's definitely cooked to the level that you'd expect, an egg at a ramen place to be cooked. The only thing is the egg was a little bit cold in the center, which means that they didn't let it sit inside the broth for long enough after cutting it. But other than that, I mean, I have no complaints. It's going for a chashu. Totally reasonable. You can taste that the chashu is marinated, at least over the course of a day, because the flavor is really seeped inside. Honestly, I'm gonna enjoy the rest of this bowl. They even give me 4 pieces of nori, and I fucking love nori in my ramen. I've been avoiding this place like the plague. Even though this place is often the only place that's still open at like 2, 3 in the morning, I just didn't trust it. But honestly, I'm probably gonna come back. This is pretty good. All right, an overall pleasant experience. Honestly, I don't know what I expected because of all the times that I've eaten out in Tokyo, I can count on one hand the amount of times I've left the restaurant disappointed. Japanese restaurants, pretty damn robust. In any event, I think we have enough information to leave our own review. All right, so for the next restaurant, we're gonna be going to a place called Ramen Severe. I don't know what's gonna be so severe about this ramen. Hopefully it's not severely terrible. But since the experience from the other day, I'm going in cautiously optimistic because that other place was significantly better than I had expected. This next place is a little bit farther away though, so I'm gonna be taking a train to Shibuya and then from Shibuya to a place called Yoga. So wish me luck. All right, we have now arrived at the world famous ramen shop, Ramen Severe. Of course, Japan is known around the world for their famous ramen shops. Anyway, let's take a look at some reviews. Ikuo says, first visit. It's like a journal entry. It was a little hot inside the restaurant. When it is hot, you check to see if the air conditioner is working. Then I saw that it was pretty dirty. The restaurant wasn't clean either, so my excitement level dropped considerably. The severe ramen, I think he means severe ramen. The severe ramen was slightly spicy, but it had no richness or flavor. I had imagined that fried rice in a place like this would be delicious, but there was something smelly about it. Just, I don't know, the wording in that, something smelly about it, it makes it sound like it's like suspicious or something. I'm gonna wait for the traffic to stop. All right, here, we're going this way. It's too fucking loud. We gotta move. Pumada says, food, : I ordered a half portion ramen. The fried rice had about 1/4 to 1/3 of an eggshell stuck in it, making it inedible. I appreciate the specificity. It was so thick, it was almost scary. Scary? This is actually a 2-star review, but I felt the need to include it because, I mean, 1/4 of an eggshell, or possibly even 1/3 of an eggshell, being inside your fried rice is pretty damning. That's like hard to miss as a chef. All right, well, that's it for the reviews. Let's go in and see if they hold water or eggshells. I at least know what I'm getting. The severe ramen and a fried rice. Hancha Shibuya no chukara onegaishimasu. I'm actually quite hungry, so I'm excited. Taking a first glance at the restaurant, I mean, seems normal. I mean, it's not like the cleanest, but I feel like it's pretty par for the course for a lot of ramen restaurants. And the air conditioner doesn't look that grim. It looks pretty normal. Although the light is blinking. Oh, actually, it's cleaning. Look. The light that indicates that it's like cleaning itself is blinking. So maybe the owner is paying attention to feedback. So there probably won't be an eggshell in my chahan if that guy read that review. He's cooking with an intense amount of enthusiasm. One thing I will say though is that so far a consistent trend with the last 2 restaurants is that these prices are fantastic.
Those prices are fantastic. We're not going to do better than that.
I mean, I got a bowl of ramen and fried rice for only 1,000 yen. That's like $7.50 US, depending on current exchange rates. Honestly, for $7.50, you could slap a log of shit on my plate, and that's still going to be a pretty good deal. They even have entertainment for your wait. Check it out. And I picked this up knowing full well that I can't read it, but... Oh, nice, it's a graphic novel.
It's a manga.
Yeah, that's what a graphic novel is.
I would you call it a graphic novel?
I guess that would be the equivalent of calling like an anime a cartoon.
Yeah.
There's a bookmark in here with a napkin.
Maybe it's not for you.
What? Why would it be there? Am I just like taking the owner's shit?
Yeah.
Damn, this guy is sweating. He looks stressed. Oh, hey, arigatou gozaimasu. All right. This ramen looks pretty severe. Or I'm sorry, this larmen looks pretty severe. Now, I don't know about the front of the shop looking intimidating, but this bowl of ramen looks pretty intimidating, I'm not gonna lie. I like spicy food, but this is alarmingly red. It's very hot, so I'm gonna let it cool down for a minute. Oh, the fried rice is here. All right, first let's take a look at the fried rice. I notice no eggshells. And is there something smelly about it? I don't know what you're talking about, man. It smells like fried rice. But how does it taste? The flavor isn't like super deep or interesting. It is just like very basic fried rice, but it's made well. It doesn't blow me away, but it's certainly not like 1-star worthy. All right, I think this has cooled down enough to the point where I could eat it. Now, Ikuo's criticism was that it was a little spicy, but it had no richness or depth of flavor. So that's gonna be the first point that I'm gonna be looking at. I kind of get what that guy was saying. It's just a little spicy, but it's kind of astonishing how the flavor just like stops. Like there's like no aftertaste. It's as if I like drank spicy water. I'm really full. There's a lot of food. You know, say what you will about the quality of the food, but in terms of cost performance, you could feed a baby giraffe this food and it would last him over the course of a week. I hate leaving food when I go out and eat, so I'm gonna conquer this. But I am struggling. Mic drop.
Stop.
Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. That ramen was one of the worst ramens I've ever had in Japan. But what's astonishing is that the ramen wasn't even bad. Like, it was just kind of mediocre. That review was actually really accurate in that there was a little bit of spiciness, but just no flavor after that. Anyway, I have enough information to leave a review now. All right, we are headed to the third and final restaurant for this video. And one thing I've noticed is the first two restaurants that we went to, the pricing was actually very cheap. 500 yen for a bowl for the first place, 1,000 yen for a bowl, and rice for the second place. So this time we're gonna go to a little bit more of a premium option and see if the negative reviews hold water there as well. All right, I'm now standing in front of Koya, which is nested right above Shimokitazawa Station. One thing I've realized from making this video is that it is actually incredibly hard to find low-rated restaurants in Tokyo. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of these reviews. Before we do that, I would like to announce that we are doing a launch giveaway for Happy Oni. 2 lucky winners will be able to get free shirts. Details in the description, so make sure you check that out. For those of you who have already purchased a shirt, I want to say thank you so much for supporting myself as well as the channel. The response has gone beyond like even my wildest expectations, so I just want to say thank you so much, and we'll get right back to the video. A local guide, his name on Google is just A. It had bad reviews, but it was really bad. There were no ingredients, and it would have been much better if there were no ingredients. What'd you get served, an empty bowl? I don't even know what that means. 1,200 yen for this? I guess that's just the cost of this place. A lot of reviews complaining about the price of this restaurant. Ash Ketchum says, visiting us from the Pokemon universe, the noodles are very dry and mushy. This review also doesn't really make it. How can noodles be dry and mushy? They'd be hard if they were dry, no? And mushy if they were overcooked? This gentleman says, there's no welcome or thank you at all. It's actually pretty custom in Japan for when a customer walks into a restaurant, you say irashaimase, which means like welcome to the store.
Irashaimase! Hajimemashite! Here comes our black...
And arigatou gozaimasu at the end when they leave, just, thank you them for patroning your restaurant. They continue, it used to be a good restaurant. The service from the foreign-looking women who are there at lunchtime has really brought down the quality of the restaurant. Well, just based on that review, I'm sure this guy's very happy with the recent general election for who got elected prime minister. And this review was just funny. Not because of the review itself, but because of the name of the reviewer, as well as the fact that the restaurant actually replied to this. Baddest Motherfucker says, it was really too bad. And the restaurant responds, and this had to have been like fed through ChatGPT or something, because why would they say that? Dear Baddest Motherfucker. Thank you very much for visiting Koyashi Kitazawa branch. We are very sorry to hear that the noodles you enjoyed did not suit your palate and left you dissatisfied. Clearly you didn't enjoy them. So it does look like they're technically responding to feedback, I suppose, but maybe not manually. It looks like they have some steamed buns and whatnot. Definitely going to want to try one of those. Upon walking in, it was immediately clear that this restaurant was a tier above the last two we had gone to. The restaurant was spotless, there was classy music playing, and they even had a touchpad to order from. Smile set. I do love to smile. With so many options available, I just asked the waitress what she recommended. So I went ahead and ordered the ramen that she recommended, which is kind of a sesame seed style, a little bit of spiciness, but I do like my spice. So I ended up increasing the spiciness level on that just a tad. I also got the pork bun and this thing of vegetables, which also looks quite enticing. One thing I'll say already is that they did pass the welcome test. I heard audible irashaimase as I walked in. And so, oh, a customer's about to leave. Did we hear the arigatou gozaimasu? Okay, I don't know if the mic picked it up because it was really... That was an audible arigatou gozaimasu as he left the store. As well as from the payment machine, if that counts. Oh, hi, arigatou gozaimasu. This bean sprout dish had that like sesame and strong garlic flavor that's often found in Chinese vegetable dishes, and it was really good. I ate the whole thing in 3 bites. Oh, hi. Arigatou gozaimasu. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so the food has arrived, and I either fucked up and ordered the wrong one, or the additional spicy made this substantially more red. But I think I just screwed up. And this pork bun is looking, I mean, look, that's a good, oh, that's hot. But that is a good-sized pork bun. Oh, and I like that they have their little logo imprinted on here. The spicy don-don noodles had that numbing spice that's also commonly found in Chinese ramen. Wasn't a huge fan of that because I think it just gets in the way of the flavor. But you could still definitely taste the effort that went into the dish. The noodles were cooked perfectly, soft on the outside, but had that slight bite towards the middle. The broth was perfectly thick enough to coat the noodles without feeling too heavy, and there were a generous amount of toppings that weaved its way into basically every bite. Alright, I'm actually really excited to try this pork bun because I really like pork buns. And the thing is, you can only often find them in convenience stores, so, you know, this is a proper restaurant pork bun. I mean, it's a hefty bun. Now the pork bun, I gotta say, this is one of the better pork buns I've had in my day. One issue a lot of pork buns have is that they're like, if they're over steamed, the outside gets kind of soggy. But no, this one does a really good job of like holding its structural integrity. And it's got like kind of a snap on the outside, but it's still soft in the middle. You know, I've walked past this restaurant a number of times, and usually they sell some of these pork buns outside, but it's a shame because this time they're not doing that. Maybe it's too late in the evening. But if they did, I definitely would have bought another one just to go home with. Better than I expected, much like the first two times. My bowl came with ingredients in it. They welcomed me into the store. They thanked me for coming by. In fact, the only criticism that held a little bit of water was that it was a little bit expensive, but a lot of that can be attributed to just location. I mean, it's above Shimokitazawa Station, so that's got to be expensive real estate. But I gotta say, I'm definitely not disappointed, and I certainly have enough information to leave my review.